Okay, well, welcome YouTubers.
Welcome.
Here we are.
Hello.
This is our second YouTube video.
No, it's our third.
Wait, no, what?
Is it? It is. It's our third. We're just
You are right.
kick butt taking names left and right.
Wow, third video. Look at us.
High
We are
fives.
almost pros. Oh my gosh. Who knew? So here we are. It's our third YouTube video.
Yes.
And we are going to continue the conversation from our podcast that went out on Monday. So podcast that went out on Monday was a part of our series called The First.
Correct.
And this one was chocked full of goodness. And
a lot of edited stories.
for sure. Some would have to have a special rating. Yes. So it is on dating, the first of dating.
Yes.
So, but again, what I like to think about it is we all have a first of something, of like, we have had to start over. We've had to go into a new job. We've moved cities. We've been friend dating. You know, like that's a thing.
It is.
You know?
I actually like friend dating probably better than any other type of dating.
Heck yes. Oh my,
Yeah.
for sure. Although, sometimes like my level of, competency with people is I am annoyed. Like I am that grumpy cat, you know, especially now with my glasses, like I am the grumpy cat. I read this thing from Beth Moore. Hey, Beth, still love you so much. And she said that when we act like we're annoyed, it's actually a level of pride. And I was like, oh, God.
Is it?
I mean, if Beth says it, you know, it's Jesus then Beth. So
Clearly.
I'm going to guess it's probably
Clearly.
true.
I would
Yeah.
say a level of being annoyed is a level of pride. That's what she said.
Mhm.
Being annoyed.
I know it gets in your brain, makes you think for a minute.
My
So
wheels are spinning. I'm gonna think of something throughout the course of this video about that. It's gonna come.
well, I even really checked myself today when I felt like I was annoyed. I was like, "You prideful bitch, stop doing that! You arrogant heathen sinner, stop!"
I would say
being
maybe it's
prideful."
something that like you don't like about yourself.
Oh no, no, not
No?
me. I'm just
Searching back.
and I'm like, I can't go through that. Like, there's a thing right now at our school district of they're trying to do this restructuring of start times. And so, I mean, and let me tell you, people get here again, this is my annoyance. So here's my pride.
It's
It's showing. But like people are all about it. And so somebody invited me into this Facebook forum where everyone's talking about it. I was like, I probably need to get a little bit educated on it. In reality, do you want to know how many I have to give about it? Exactly.
Well,
I'm like,
kudos for educating yourself.
but I found myself, and then I was like, this is why I didn't do PTA meetings. This is why I didn't do things. Like when people would ask me to join these things, I'm like,
Woof.
no. So again, I'm like, so what's this? Is it this really a level of pride? So anyways, there's that. A little bit of
I
caveat.
think that's like diving too deep. It's over spiritualizing things.
Thank you.
You're annoyed. Move on. Done with it.
For sure. Yeah. So
I'll tell you what's annoying.
Tell me.
Going to training and dogs poop on the floor mats in the weight room next to the gymnasium. That's what's annoying.
Do you want me to tell you one way you can stop that?
Not have dogs inside.
Don't go to gyms.
All true. C. All the above.
Instead, you know what you should be doing? Enjoying a happy hour. Leak. Yeah, that's what it should be doing.
You know what that's my favorite sound? Ice jiggling in a cup.
Yeah.
I think that's what my text message sound is, just so you know. You can download
I didn't know you
anything
could
these
do
days.
that. I'm gonna do that. I like it.
Okay, so we are talking about dating. Sorry.
Yeah. So we're gonna stay in the lane of our stories that we're gonna talk about is going to be dating, but we want you to be able to go like friend dating, PTA dating, I don't know, whatever it needs to be.
If you're not annoyed at the
if
PTA,
you're not annoyed and prideful, do you. But I will tell you, I got a lot of messages after our dating segment on the podcast, and they were like, I love knowing some backstory, because as much as I love to tell stories, sometimes I'm always giving like this level view. And so to give a little bit of detail, and I was like, oh, ladies, listen, wait until May 3rd, because there's other stories that I will tell you that can never be on a recording for evidence, like ever.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
Okay, so let's jump in and online dating. It's a thing.
Yeah. No, I like I said on the episode, I have not experienced online dating. I have nothing against it, because I think it makes the whole process much easier. Yeah. Than like the thing I don't like about what I don't like about it. What I don't like about it is that it, like everything else in social media, it takes away the social interaction, like the boldness that it would require to ask somebody out, right? Or the communication skills to actually talk with somebody and say, hey, what's your name? Not just swipe left, swipe right, right? What I do like about it, though, is the obvious. It puts everybody in the same pool. Like, you just know where to go. I mean, you get a lot of options, which could be exhausting, but...
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, I think that because of the world that we live in and the way that we run our lives, there's a lot of times that you would not be able to meet certain people because of you're just not... like your lives are not colliding at any other time.
Right.
So I do think it's this masterpiece of like bringing that together and allowing that to happen. Now, let me tell you what, okay? So I did online dating. And like I told you before, like if you haven't listened to the podcast, I would be like, I'm going to go for it. I'd have a friend who's doing online dating. I'm like, I'm going to jump in. I'll try it too. 2 minutes later, I am like, oh no, I can't do this. So, 30 days, whatever. So
30 days.
I had a little bit of like, I would tiptoe in it, and then I would be like, here's the thing. So, connected with this man, and I'm not even going to use a fake name. His name is Frank. Because Frank.
If you're out there, Frank, listen up, bucko. It's about you, boo.
You're a turd, Frank.
Juicy. On the floor of a gym.
Exactly. Through the cracks of the mat.
It's all coming together. Full circle.
He sent me a eggplant emoji.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
If I am lying to you right now, I am dying. I just listened to the Popcast with Knox and Jamie. They were just doing this overview of all of the emojis. I needed this 2.5 years ago in my life, let me tell you, because I had no idea. And I was like, are you a farmer, Frank? Like, are you a vegan? Like, what are we doing?
We need kids to sit us down and say, this is what everything means.
I know, but I could never ask my boys. I would be like, hey, fellas, so,
I had a guy that texted me an eggplant.
Frank keeps sending me these
Frank, go, take.
And I did not know. I did not know. Okay. Let me tell you. So we ended up meeting because he was also funny. And funny is the thing that's going to get me kidnapped. Like,
yeah, that and bread and cheese.
Dangle a few food in me, and I'm going to be the easiest target ever. It's just true. So we met, and let me tell you, I will not share that dating story online. But again, if we are ever in a live studio audience, I will let go of all my pride and say it out loud, because it is so sketchy.
Yet again, another reason for you all as listeners to take us on the road and to bring us live, because
the story of that one.
Yeah, I would ask you to come just to hear that story.
Well, it is juicy. So after this situation, I went offline and I was like, oh no, like there are some fruit and nuts out there, and I just didn't want to be a part of it.
And here's the other thing with online dating, because I have a friend who, she's like the connoisseur professional of online dating. So
Wow,
it's
she
like,
should teach a class.
well, I don't think so. That's not where I'm
Okay.
going with this.
Okay.
So she's more of like, you don't know how many she's seen at one time. So she could go from like Bumble to Bumble to Bumble to Bumble date in one single night.
Yeah.
Right? So like,
Oh, on one
on
night.
one night, like you just don't know. Like you'd ask, like, which Bumble date are you on tonight? Like, who is this Bumble? Right? Like, there's so many
Okay.
interactions. So then I'm
Okay.
also like, how about you just slow your roll, maybe take one at a time, and
For
see
sure.
if that one time works.
Yeah.
You know?
But do you want to know about Bumble? They do friendship on Bumble and they also do business on Bumble. I listened to this.
I don't think she's doing those, but that's a
right.
fair statement.
I'm just saying, like, Bumble actually has a really cool concept. Like, it really is. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I have a friend who is online dating right now, and so she and I just had a conversation about it, and I'm just like, oh man, like this one conversation that just started out, and she's the sweetest, like her soul is so good, and she's like, I don't know if I'm putting off this energy because this is not what I'm wanting to attract. And I'm like, no, there's just some big scumbag turds out there, and you just happen to interturn. That's not your energy. That's not on you.
No,
that's on them.
No, yep.
So I think we have to be really careful with online dating. I'm
Check.
gonna give it the go ahead, go for
Yep.
it, but be really smart, because
Would you go on a like? Well, clearly you did with Eggplant Man, Frank the Eggplant.
I sure did.
But like, would you advise people to go like on double dates the first time that you're on like an internet date, online dating?
I don't know if that's how actually how it's set up. Like,
Well,
I don't
I
think
know,
that.
but like, you can communicate beforehand, right? So like, you can communicate throughout the course of your interaction online.
Yeah.
So like, when you're actually going to meet, would you plan like, hey, you bring a friend, I'll bring a friend, so it's not just you one-on-one?
You know how I feel about that. Where I don't
Yeah.
even communicate it. I am like, my girlfriend who shows up and we do happy hour things together. I'm like, show up. That's how we do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't even think it needs to be communicated, because, and I mean, I've even had my son show up and I'm like, hey, this is where I'm going to be. Come see me. And so I don't think
That's a curveball.
I mean, if you feel better doing it that way, but again, I think if you make it, if it's like coffee date, a happy hour, something super, it's not going to be this long invested time. And if it's not working for you, you know what you do?
You leave.
Check out. You be done. You run to the ladies' room. You tell the waitress to come get you, spill a drink on you, do something. Like, get yourself out of there. Like, you hold the power, and you can be as creative as you want, or you could just be like, this is not working for
Yeah.
me.
So
I'm
bring
not going to
cash.
be your mistress.
Bring
So
cash.
peace out.
Yeah.
Listen, for sure. Get yourself out. Yeah.
Print.
Yeah.
Walk away.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition then into dating long distance.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a professional on this one. I don't think
I'm
I've
kind
dated.
of too. Yeah.
There hasn't been, which is says a lot, but this is where like I really enjoy actually long distance dating, but there's definitely pros and cons to it.
For sure.
Definitely pros and cons to it. Like,
I feel like I'm still kind of long distance married.
yeah, me too. It's kind of ironic how similar our situations are, but
Yeah.
like I truly enjoy the fact of being long distance when it really does work on your communication. So like, you have to be intentional, right, on the time that you do have together. Praise God for like Skype, Facebook, blah blah blah. I mean, Facebook too, yeah, but FaceTime, like, you can actually see and interact with people. But it really forces you to work on your communication, to forces you to work on like timing, because for me, I always had at least 3-hour time difference. So,
Okay.
So there would also like be a huge adjustment within your schedule and the calendar and all that stuff too. But man, it's something to be said though to date close as well before you tie the knot, because you're different. You're different when you're dating in close proximity to when you were apart, for sure.
I agree with that. And I will tell you, until this current like little season of being on sabbatical, the long distance, the travel, the whatever has actually worked for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm gonna do my thing. I have my kid schedule I'm gonna keep. And actually, you were the one who said this to me years ago, by the way. You said
Wait,
when
are you saying me?
you,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I'm listening
I
now.
know. Yeah, hashtag Shauna. Uh, you said when it's right for you, this person will add to your life and it will never take away from your life.
Man, that is a bomb I dropped. That's good.
Brilliant,
That's
brilliant, brilliant.
good.
And I have held on to that to be like, okay, that is always going to be the thing of, is this going to add to? Because I
Right.
didn't have enough to take away. Like, you take anything away from me and I am like, I'm in such a deficit
Yeah.
already. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
And so, Tom actually said to me when we were probably past the 21 question kind of things, but when I was like, okay, let's figure it out. And he said, Stephanie, I only want to add to your life. I don't want to take away from it.
That's when you
I
knew.
know. I did.
What?
And so for me, that allowed me to still be a friend, still do my job, still be a mom, all of those kind of things. And then it wasn't this weird pressure of juggling every single day of of you know what I mean, of
Yeah.
all of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Now, so for and then you get to be creative and then you get to like fly somewhere and meet or all of those kind of things. And so it keeps it kind of fun.
Yeah.
Now, is that reality?
Nope.
No,
No, ma'am, it's not.
no.
Not one bit of it.
Where you're like, oh, bananas, this about you.
Especially
don't
when you're
really
flying to
like.
Hawaii for a week to do
Right?
that. That
So
is
that's
not.
not real. No.
I didn't think about it like that, right?
Yeah. And so I think that there's some good things about that, but I also think what has to be like the top part of that is it has to be trust. Like there
Absolutely.
has to be a level of trust because you hear things about like, well, they travel here and they do this. Well, what's happening up there? They would know another life
Hmm.
or whatever. And so you have to have a level of trust and be able to ask questions, trust your gut, all of those kind of things with that because you know there's just all of that happens with it too.
Yeah, and the other more good things about long distance though too is when you go or when he comes or vice versa, whatever.
Mhm.
Like that's when it's so important to have to be like immersed. You're immersed in his or her life. Like
Yeah,
you're totally immersed into it. So like you see them for who they really are. It's not like
absolutely.
a date once a week here and there. Like you totally are immersed in their culture, in their lifestyle, in their friendships, in their relationships. So you get to see them operate differently. So it may not be real because you completely take yourself out of your world and plop them
Right.
into his.
There's not any pressures.
There's no
The
pressures.
the daily pressures, right?
But there's also the realness that you see of their life. Like there's no faking it in that regard either.
Yeah.
So I definitely do. I really enjoy long distance. I mean, there's pressures obviously when you do come together and like, if you're trying to wait for marriage, boom, that's hard. Makes it even more difficult. But
Yeah.
um, I think I actually would probably prefer long distance because, like you said, I was also in a state where I'm still like I was really in love with my independence,
Yeah.
and so the whole concept of not taking away but adding to, I still felt like in a way it was taking away, and not because it was him. It was just because that's just the state that I was in too. Of like, I still need my space. I still need to be kind of single in this and still figure out things that I
Yeah.
hadn't worked through yet. And so it still kind of allows you to do that.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's and some people can handle that and some people it just isn't. But I think too with where we're at with so many remote businesses and everybody, doing we just don't live in that simplified
You're right.
everybody lives and works within 15 minutes of
No.
their selves. And so I actually have it still suits me really well to be non-traditional in that. And like we just had that conversation um about like that is but it's still honors God. It still does all of those things, but I still get to be me
Hmm.
and chart this and write this out the way that it works for me and my family and my kids
Yep.
and Tom even.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Do you realize how much do I talk with my hands a lot? You, I feel like I talk with my hands. I'm kind of watching myself, and I'm like,
You might. Do I? I think I probably. I think I maybe.
okay, this next one we have to talk without using our hands.
Okay. Oh,
She's praying.
makes me think about. I just found out that the octopus emoji.
Oh, what's this
I
mean?
know. I know.
I don't know
You
what it
might
means.
you might be thinking something different, but do you know what it actually means? It means cuddle. And so
Seriously?
I know.
Not a
You know,
bear?
like I was thinking of like the tentacles of it, you know.
You're using your hands.
That's how I feel. I know. That's how I feel like but it means cuddle.
Hmm.
I learned a lot with this podcast, I'm telling you. I was like, man, I wish I would have had this a couple years ago because wow.
I
Wow.
had
Well,
no idea.
do you want me to give you one more?
Please.
Just this caught me off guard. I'm on my trails today, busting up laughing so hard. So the house symbol, you know, like the building symbols, and it has the heart on it,
Uh-huh.
and it's just like a white building, and people think it's a hospital. It's not.
What is it?
It's a pay by the hour hotel. No, maybe
Is it really? How do you
it
know
has
that?
an H on it. Because there's like a whole thing about it, and they'll tell you everything, and then like there's these new emojis coming out and what they mean. But yeah, so
Oh,
it's a
that is-
pay by the hour hotel.
It's priceless.
I know. So there you go.
We're just gonna start having a full-on emoji conversation with you and make up our own meanings.
I know for sure. That works for me. Okay, so this is something that I think is just kind of necessary. Like we talked about the fun parts of it, you know, the stories and everything. Which we are nothing if we are not a fun story, right?
True.
I know. But the thought process of so let's just go back to where we are of traumatic events happening in your first marriage, creating this place of decision to be divorced,
Mhm.
and then this thought process of getting back into dating.
Yes.
I mean, even like we can even say like even in a big breakup, right? Like not just necessarily
Right.
a divorce, right? But what was your thought process? Like, or if you were to sit with somebody, and they were thinking about it, like what would be your wisdom and advice if they're thinking about getting back into dating?
My first point of advice would be to give yourself grace in it, because for me, I was like, when I thought that I might be interested in, I felt like I had to have all the answers and remember how to do everything and navigate through emotions that I didn't even navigate through for myself, let alone for like that I had for somebody else. So I would number one say just give yourself grace in that and just like, whoa, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't need to be married tomorrow, and you have all the time in the world. Like you literally, the ball is in your court, and you don't have to be pressured to do anything, because it also is like then when you did get into a relationship, then it was more okay. Now I got to think about marriage and how fast I want to go into it, and do I need to do this? Do I not want to do that? Like I put so much pressure on myself because of what I felt the cultural and social norm was.
Okay.
Where I didn't need to do any of it. Like I could have just been content with where I was, because in all honesty, the point where I was when I met Antoine was I was totally fine to be single. I wasn't looking for a man. I wasn't looking for any type of relationship. I was legitimately at peace. And that's when people normally say that they come, right? Because you're not looking, so they come. But I genuinely, I would just say give yourself space, time, and grace, because you don't know what you're doing. And just own it. Just own the fact that
Yeah.
you're navigating through tricky waters, that you don't know what you're doing. There doesn't need to be a time schedule, so don't put one on yourself.
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
What did you think?
Um, I would say I have two schools of thoughts on that. And one is for the women who have been so hurt and so broken from the broken dreams, the broken trust, the broken places that ended their marriage, to as that woman, because like that, a piece of you really does die, like that,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
that. And it's like, don't let those hopes and dreams of what you wanted your life to look like, don't let those die with that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if, like, those can be redeemed and those can be restored, and you, that wasn't your the best,
Right.
and then everything else from here is downhill. So like for that woman, I would be like, oh no, like, you are worthy of being loved, you are worthy of being treasured, you are worthy of dreaming those dreams again. And then it's not going to fit in the mold that you think it is, so give it that grace,
Right.
to
Yep.
to be able to say, like, rewrite a different story, but I want to be in that story again.
But there's a grieving process in that too. There's a grieving process in
100%.
just the simple idea of it's not going to look like what you initially thought.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because
Yeah.
that's life. I mean,
Yeah.
you're constantly problem solving in your life, constantly.
Well, and
So-
remember, when we were texting back and forth last week, and I said I had to grieve that. Like, I had to take it out and go, this white picket fence, this thing of what I wanted my life to look like, it is not.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are older, careers have changed, life has changed, all of those things have changed. And so that's not coming back to you.
Right.
And so, yes, grieve that for sure. But don't let the hope and the dream of that to die with that.
Agree.
Right?
Agreed.
And then, I mean, I sat with a friend a couple weeks ago, and she was just like, that's just not going to be mine. And I'm like, you stop that. Do not speak that, because that is not true for you. Not at all. And I even said, like, so here, like, you may not have that for you right now. And okay, you're not there. That's totally fine. But you know what? I'm going to have it for you. And when you're ready, you can take it and run with it. But I'm going to keep holding out, like that candle with the light. Like, I'm just going to keep holding that out. And when you're ready to take it, and you do what you want with that.
Yep.
My other thing is, don't hop into dating so quickly that you do not allow the process of grieving, of healing, of being mad, of feeling all of those things. Like, do not go so quickly into that you do not have the time and the space to process you.
Yeah.
Because for me, I mean, I get it. I know I can speak a little bit into that. Like, it was a distraction. It was a filler of things that did not allow me to process whatever your distraction is, really. Right.
Right.
But, and I've said this, and I really do mean it. And it just came from, like, you know what? This has been 5 years for whatever, but the person that Tom fell in love with and the person that I am was not anywhere near the person who I was 20 years ago, 15 years ago, even 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I had to find me, the new me.
And that's not a selfish way of thinking. Because
Heck
I
no.
hear a lot of women in particular, but people who are just so giving and so generous and so loving towards other people. You can hear that and you can say, but I don't. All you hear is me, spending time for
Right.
me, focusing on me, being even prideful in that. Like, those words can all
Right.
be consumed and can be used in that regard. But it's not a selfish way of thinking, because it's not just about you. Like, if you
Right.
meet somebody, and like you said, when you met Tom, you won't be the best version of you for him. So it's
Right.
not just for you to know you best. to be
Yeah.
healed and to be set free. It's for the person that you're about to meet too, so that you can be the best for them as well. And so it's reciprocated in both ways.
I feel like it's so dumb, but I feel like it's some of this basic truth of like when you're flying on an airplane and they say, if your mask falls, you put it on you first
Right.
before
Yep.
you help anybody else. And you're kind of like, it seems so, like you said, so selfish or whatever, but like you have to, like if you're losing oxygen, you're not going to help anybody else if by putting everybody else's on and you don't have yours on. And so that whole basic principle of what they tell you every time you fly in an airplane, that has to be true for you too.
Yep.
Like in this season of your life, guess what you need to do? You need to put on your oxygen mask. You need to take that time for you, because then you can be the best you, like you said, for everybody else.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great visual. All back to the airplane etiquette episodes. We're all about travel here, folks. And hey, if you have us come
Delta.
live to your city,
I will wear an inflatable vest.
And I'll wear the oxygen mask. We'll walk on stage wearing our travel garb.
Of course. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no shame in that game. Are you
Never.
kidding me? No. Oh my gosh. And Delta, if you want to fly us around, we will say your name loud and proud. Come on. Come on.
Come fly
right
with
now.
us, guys.
Oh my gosh. So that's just kind of, again, like I don't say any of this because I'm like, well, guess what? I dated, I found a man, I'm married, so I win. I'm the pro, I'm the champion, I'm the expert of this. I am not. I am not. I have
so many things that I did wrong.
I have so many do not ever do. And I feel like that it's just getting darker and darker.
It is. Well, you know, it is. The sun is going down.
Well, and we're getting ready to get a storm, so give me 1 second. Let me turn my spotlight.
You know, honestly, it looks super sunny outside where you're at.
It's really not. There we go.
There it is.
Hey.
Angelic.
Thank you. But again, you get, and here's the thing, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to go on bad dates. You're going to, have somebody text you something. You're going to say something stupid. All of those, it just is. But you know what? Actually, it's fun too. Like, have fun with it and don't put so much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, don't put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't put pressure on yourself. Yeah.
Nah. Because let me tell you this, being by yourself, eating dinner by yourself is a whole lot better than being in a toxic, manipulative, narcissistic
That'll preach.
relation.
That'll
you know what I mean?
preach. I do know what you mean. Yes.
Heck yeah. I can draw a bubble bath and make myself just as happy as can be than having to live or even have a part of something toxic. No, thank you.
Yeah. But then on the flip side of that, that independence and that ease of living by yourself, that also can flow into marriage.
Yes, it can.
Because I'm like, hey, I can do me a lot easier at times. So I go there versus really trying to dive in. So it's a yin and a yang.
I think a great philosopher, maybe a psalmist, I don't know, said we're always walking towards where we need to be. We're never going to fully be there here on earth. That's
wherever
where we
go.
Wherever you go. You are. Get there. Wear good shoes. Hope you have good hair.
Yeah, don't wear stinks.
Good luck. Don't wear your stinks. Oh my gosh, no.
Well, okay, so there's a little bit of added information and a little bit of added dialogue on our 10th episode of Little Did I Know. But you're welcome. Some more info on our first of dating. Next week is going to be the last episode of our first series in marriage.
It's on marriage. That's right.
I mean, who knew? Singleness, dating, I could probably foretell that you saw that coming. But this is going to be our last one. So episode 11 next week. Please make sure that you subscribe, rate, like, and go listen to next week's episode. Comes out on Monday.
Share this with your friends, like your circle. We hear all the time about how important this is and the message that we're hearing. And so we don't want to be selfish people because that's not how we roll. So share this away, give it away. Okay. So one of the things that we want to start doing is, and let me tell you, tribe, when you see this, I love you so much. So one of the things that we do is for our YouTube is, you know what? I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad about it.
I'm not mad about it. So, Shauna, this week, what are you saying? You know what? I'm not mad about it.
This week, I'm not mad about the fact that I got back from Hawaii and my love tank is filled with amazing people. That I got an
Yes.
amazing tattoo that I absolutely love and will love for the rest of my life.
You
And
have
got
to.
it while I was touche. Well, I was looking out a window at the water. Somebody's giving me the tattoo. It's just like I'm not mad
Oh,
about my life
yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
I'm just not mad about it.
I love it. I love it. Well, so I told you I've been back to counseling, right? Dr.
Yes.
Mary, we love her. She's good. But she told me today, she said, for 1 week, I don't want you to think about this, or this. We're not going to think about it. You're not going to overthink. You're not going to problem solve everything. She gave me complete permission to not do it. So you know what? I'm really not mad about it. I said, thank you, Dr. Mary. She said, so we're not going to think about it. It's some of those things are going to take care of themselves, but you get to release yourself from that. So you know what?
Let me ask you then. Let me ask you.
Sure.
How
Yeah.
does it feel to be released to do you and not be selfish? You are like actually demanded and you're paying money to be demanded.
You know I am. Yeah.
Amen. So how does it feel to have somebody tell you, Steph, you just do you this week?
You know what? It was it seems so dumb, but it was just like, and she goes, can you do that? And I said, I'm going to really try. And I meant it. And it was like this release of like, so as I'm driving and I'm like, nope, I don't need to go there either. Like, it doesn't mean that my problems and the situation and all of those things are going away, because they're not.
Right.
But you know what else isn't going away? Like if I overthink it and I don't sleep at night and my stomach is angry or whatever, nothing is doing that either.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So, you know what? This is going into Holy Week, and I'm like, what better time than to really have my focus be on that, which is the most defining time for us,
Yep.
as believers, and to go, okay, so I'm not mad about it. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Therapy is good. I think everybody should really jump back into
sure.
it every now and then. It's just,
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally agree with you. So you're going to do you this week. We're going to praise Jesus this weekend. And
Yes,
I'm going to
just keep your love tank full.
keep my love tank full. Thank you. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to give you a sneak peek, people.
Uh-oh.
Okay?
Guard your eyes!
I'm giving you... Oh, no.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
Not that.
We are going to have some fun live segments coming to you in just a couple weeks. Like,
I'm so stoked.
we're shifting a couple things, and we've got some surprises coming your way. So make sure you really are subscribed. Make sure that you're on our Instagram. We are at 85 followers on Instagram. I really need us to get to 100. Like, I will feel better but I'm not thinking about it this week. But so share it, get it out there. But I'm going to tell you, the first weekend in May,
Shenanigans are going to be had.
shenanigans. And my favorite holiday's in there too. Cinco de Mayo.
That's so weird to me.
I know.
I love it.
I know, but it's good. Okay, so I am Stephanie Parks. You can find me at Steph K. Parks on Instagram and Stephanie Parks on Facebook.
And I'm Shauna Zolman Mihaly. You can find me there on Facebook and Instagram as well. And I want to just also put a little plug in to my other podcast,
You
The
should.
Sum of It All, with 2 M's, The Sum of It All. Check it out.
You can find it on all your podcast streaming.
All of them. All
right?
of them. iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. But
Watch out, world. Here she comes.
oh, we had fun. Again, thanks for doing this.
I love it.
This is fun.
We'll see you next week. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.